Monica.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for coming in and doing this today.
Yes, thank you for inviting me.
Yes, awesome. So I'm super excited to have you today. Your name is Monica, but some of the people in the office call you Mamica, right?
I know.
You are the office mom.
The office mom.
I always say they need a daddy and a mommy, right? So you're filling that role. You're doing a great job. We really appreciate you. I can't tell you how many compliments we get on you from our agents. So I think that's really important. So I wanted to say thank you for that. I wanted to talk today. You have a couple deals. You did a big one last month. You got a big one this month. Tell us, what's the secret?
Really, it's sticking to basics. I'm old school. I started my real estate career back in 2003 up in Maryland.
So this ain't your first rodeo?
No.
Okay.
And I got my Virginia license shortly after that, being that, we tend to work both borders. But I was fortunate to start with two boutique firms at the beginning of my career.
So you like boutique?
I do.
Nice.
I like smaller boutique.
Good.
Yes.
That's going to work for us here at Trend.
Yes. And my first mentor, whom I still talk to, my mentor up north, she taught me trust the process, stick to the basics. We didn't have these
fundamentals.
We didn't have these shiny objects, and we didn't have this crazy shiny
jazz.
Jazz. You call it jazz.
The
fluff.
jazz.
Exactly. We didn't have this technology that we have these days. I feel like a lot of agents rely on technology and they forget the fundamentals.
Correct.
So at the end of the day, are we selling real estate or are we selling technology?
Right.
So with me, for instance, you referenced my big deal last month.
Yes.
I did 6 open houses there. I got the direct buyer on my own listing, and I worked both sides of the deal. There you go.
Congrats. That was a big one. That was really nice. So that was a huge check. You saved a ton of money. Do you remember how much you saved?
$13,000.
13 G's. So you're 100%.
Yes.
You love the 100% model now. Are you sold on it now?
Oh, absolutely.
Nice. Because you came in, you were like, I don't know, there's some jazz and there's some stuff that I like. And I think I always say I'm an essentialist, and I think I'm turning you to the dark side. I think I'm getting you there.
Well, I started with a big, I call it a big box brokerage.
Sure, Brand X, we'll call it.
Yeah, Brand X. So I was with Brand X for 5 years.
Sure.
And I learned a lot. I did learn. I learned a lot about how those brokerages operate. But I also noticed changes within myself. I noticed that I was deviating away from my authentic self, and I started getting. I know,
deep.
and that's a big thing with me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my lead generation is face-to-face.
Yes.
I don't like to pick up the phone and do cold calling. I like to get out there and meet people in person, go to open houses.
Well, I think you have, like when agents walk into the office, I notice this too. New agents, people we're interviewing, you have an energy, and it's like a warm, kind energy, and I think people can feel your sincerity. So I find that to be a hugely important skill as a salesperson, and I think other people obviously gravitate to that as well.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Going back to being authentic,
Yep.
I think that us as agents, we need to stick with what we're good at. And one thing I do know is I'm good with people.
You are.
And I like operations, and I like helping people.
Yep.
Because I've been very fortunate to have a lot of wonderful mentors and role models in my life, and all of them have a quality that's very similar.
Yes.
And it's the people. It's the connections. And that's where I get a lot of my business. I get it from referrals. I have a listing up in Maryland from someone that used to be my boss years ago. 9 years ago. And she reached out to me. She could reach out to anybody up there.
Sure.
And I'm in Florida, and she's reaching out to me.
Yep.
So it really pays off.
I think you have a thing called you're sticky, right? Like you come in and people want that energy, right? Like you got a great energy, and people want to be around you because you make it fun, you make it engaging, you make it professional always, but fun and engaging too. Like the sales process doesn't have to be a drag, right? Like
Sure.
There's people I think who've been in your role within the company before, and it was just a little like boring and dull and methodical. And I think you bring, you can make a lead-based paint disclosure fun, right? Like, how do you do that? What's going on there?
Well, you know what it is? It's education.
Okay.
You want people to be self-sufficient.
Yes.
You want to, I guess it would, like I have a dog. I don't have any kids, but I feel like if I show my dog, or if it's a child, or if it's an agent, we want to learn. I think each one of us has this, there's something within us that we always want to learn something new.
Sure.
And to me, I get satisfaction off of seeing someone succeed. And that makes me happy. So when I'm doing a lead-based paint disclosure, I'm explaining it to them.
Yep.
Because when new agents get out of real estate school, they kind of come out with what I call analysis paralysis.
Yes.
They don't know what they don't know.
That's right.
And, all of a sudden they're told, hey, get on the phone, start cold calling, read these scripts,
Yes.
go knock on all the doors. And it's like, okay, great. Guess what? I got a client. What do I do?
And now
what do I do
what?
now?
Right?
What do I do now?
So what we do at Trend is we have a couple of different products. One is a mentorship. So for brand new agents, they can mentor, and you're one of our mentors.
Mm-hmm.
So you do that for agents, which I think you do just a bang up job. The second thing we do is transaction coordination, which you do a lot of that as well. And
Sure.
so that's like the paperwork end of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think those two things are huge, and there's nobody better that they can learn from than you, because you're doing this, and you've been doing this for 15 years. You're good at it, and you like teaching, right? Like
I
you're
do.
a teacher by heart, right? Did you ever
I
think
love
about
it.
being a teacher?
No, I haven't. Actually,
You could do it. You'd be really good at it.
I went to school for construction management.
You take a major pay cut, but you do really well at it, right? So tell me one other question, like business books. Is there a book you've read? Is there something like that you've picked up on that helped you get to this level? Is there anything that changed your life in that realm? Like for me, I read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that got me into like other people's money, borrowing, buying rental properties, and it literally changed the course of my life. You had anything of this, or is this from your folks, or what's the influence? What's the change?
I think it's because I just gravitated towards individuals that I aspire to be more like.
Sure.
Like I said, I have a lot of positive role models in my life, and I'm their biggest fan. They're my biggest fan. I think it all comes down to relationships. I'm not a huge reader. I have said that this year that I really should spend more time doing that. I'm more of a, give me the instruction manual, show me how to do it.
You want the cliff
I'm more
notes.
of the doer, yeah,
You want
exactly.
the cliff notes and just rip it open and get going.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Yes.
No, that's good. Hey, look, I can give you the cliff notes on any book. They're out there, right? It's
Perfect.
a simple way to do it.
Right.
But I do like that you're a doer. Like you just rip it open and start doing it. Like you just came in. So how did we end up with you as director of operations? You show up one day and you're like, I want to be called the director of operations. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. We're a small I'm like, okay, let's just try it. So I throw you in the role, call you director of operations, and then I get busy doing broker stuff, weird stuff. And I've got lots of personal stuff going on. And I'm like, call Monica. And then that just started happening and happening and happening. And you showed up and did the job before you asked for any money for the job, right? And I was like, who is this person? Why would she just do that? Why is she so helpful? Like, this is incredible. So now it's morphed into this new thing, and we got plans for the future, right? Like, we have an idea of how to build this thing in a sequential way.
Right.
But for me, I think the fact that, I think this is a great sales lesson, the fact that you did the job before you asked for anything for it, you like led with the give, right? Like you came in and you started like doing stuff. Like, we need to change this, we need to change that. And I'm like, okay. And now here we are, and now we got plans and things are going good, right? So do you do that by nature, or is that just like something you had a thought? I mean, tell me about that. Why did you just come in and start like improving things? You started making things better and helping me with decisions and making things concise. What gave you the drive to do that, or the interest even to do that?
As much as I love real estate sales,
End game.
yes, it's the end game. I do see myself being more in an operations sort of
You've
position.
said that before.
Well, I think, Gary Keller does have a book, The One Thing.
Yep.
And you asked me about books. I did read that one actually twice.
That's a great
And one
book.
thing that I realized about myself over the past few years is I tend to feel like I have to be the jack of all trades.
Right.
I feel like, I got to stretch my limits. Maybe it comes from sports. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe it comes from, my father's got an amazing work ethic. So it could be some of the role models that I've seen out there. But what I realize with me is that I excel when I stick with one thing. And I have been spending the past few years managing 2 mega teams with top producers, and I was doing sales, and I was also running their operations. What I realized with that is that I'm good at both.
Yep.
It's really hard to manage both.
It is.
So in order for me to get to where I want to be in life, I need to focus on that one thing, and I need to excel on it. So when I came onto your brokerage, I did see you were at the point that you're starting to get
busy.
A number of agents and you need the help. I want to see this brokerage succeed. I want to see myself
I appreciate that.
Going, you know, what do you call it? The long game.
Long game.
Looking at the long
End
game.
right? Like, so, yeah, so the long game for me is, don't get me wrong, selling is probably one of the most lucrative things you can do. But in a lot of ways, it's for some people at some seasons in life. I'm sure I'll sell real estate again and act as an agent for friends and family, like my lovely podcaster, like the guy who helps do our video production. I do a lot of stuff with his family, right? Because he's my friend. But more often than not, I like my flow zone is the brokerage. Like if you ask me like, what do you want to do? I was telling somebody the other day, and I think you'll like this. I said, I'm happiest when I'm functioning in the broker role. I don't know why. Like there's a pay cut from, I've flipped a lot of houses. I've sold a lot. This was a pay cut to get this off the ground, like a big pay cut. And so it just came to a point in my life where I was like, I'm willing to take a pay cut to do something I want to do. And I'm very happy in this role. Like I wake up in the morning and I'm excited about the day. I like it, right? And so I think when you're in your flow zone, whether the money's the best money you've ever made in your life or not, you'll be happiest and you'll be most content. So I think when you talk about operations, that seems to be in your flow zone. Would you agree with that?
100%. Real estate is simple, not easy. And I think that what happens is a lot of these agents get lost. And whether it's just that they had this perception that, it's going to be great. I'm going to get my license. I'm going to go hit up every
easy
neighbor.
Money,
yeah, I'm going to hit up every
easy.
neighbor, and I'm going to put them under contract, and it's going to be awesome.
Right. And then you get smacked in the teeth, right?
Well, what happens if you get that one that's, it's a husband and wife, they're living under the same roof, they're getting a divorce. I mean, it is sticky.
Yep.
What do you do?
Yes.
I mean, we have to wear a lot of hats in this industry. I think you may have told me that the average agent lasts about a year.
Yeah, no, it's so there's a 90% fail rate, right? So like, who wants to get into a business where like 90%, first of all, 90% of businesses fail. And then 90% of agents within real estate fail. So like they're like the chance of making it is so
That's so
slim,
sad.
Right?
That's really sad.
But I think if they're with us, right, they're going to have Mamaka, they're going to have, broker guy, me, and they're going to have a better shot because number one, 100%, right? Like I made Trend because I wanted to create a company that I would want to work at. So agents keep their checks. They need those checks to survive. Like if you were that 13 G's you put back in your pocket, boom, like that can last you a long time.
Absolutely.
And then you can have a bad month and then recover and have another good, where you're just having good month after good month. But
doing the basics
and the fundamentals.
My current big deal. Yeah, I got that off of Craigslist. Yeah, I did my marketing off of Craigslist. I went to the basics.
Who even thinks, like, it's shocking you said that. In the booklet I give to all new agents, I literally say to put your listings in Craigslist. And people are like, oh, come on, Craigslist, I'm going to get the Craigslist killer or whatever. And it's like, no. Seriously, like, this works. Like,
it's leverage.
The basics.
In this industry, it's also very easy to get burnt out because you feel like you have to do everything. But if you leverage with the proper outlets and the proper people, I mean, you can be extremely successful in this industry. And I feel that between my experiences and your experiences collectively, we can help these agents
35 years of collective experience. Can you believe that? That's a lot. It's ridiculous. You always give me a hard time because I'm a little older than you, but together, it's a lot of years. It's a lot of deals, bad deals, good deals. I mean,
it's our obligation to share that knowledge, though.
That's right. I enjoy it. I mean, look,
me too.
They're really lucky to have you there because before you came, Trend was a special spot. I think you saw that when you came in, but with you here, it's like 10x, right? It's such a better spot with you here. So I really appreciate you, being a part of this. You're super important to the company. I can't tell you how much I'm just impressed with just your general demeanor, but also just like you're like wicked good with sales too. You're like sneaky.
I try.
You're sneaky. The smile, right? Gets them. Since you've been with, I'm not going to ask you the best thing you've learned since you've been in the business because we can go on. Since you've been at Trend, what is one thing you think you've learned?
Never stop learning, and stick with your authentic self. And,
authenticity, I love that.
Yeah, and Yeah, I mean, authenticity is very big for me. I do feel that I did sort of lose myself in this industry, and it's very easy for this industry to consume you. You feel like you need to know everything. And rely on those people, partner up with other agents. You know, this is not a competition. We're not in competition with each other.
No, I think, well, I mean, Brand X sure acted like that, and the brand Y I was at, I mean, it was like you didn't, like you walked in and it was like,
yeah, it's
we
like,
don't act
it's
like
like,
that,
it's
though.
like hide your piece of paper. It's
Right.
like, wait a minute, we're doing this together. Even agents on the other end, it's like as soon as we get off go under contract on a property, it's like the other agent sort of just disappears until we get to closing.
Right.
I mean, again, we're in this together.
I think that's another thing you bring that we're like-minded in. Like when you're with Trend, it's a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like every agent comes in, we share what lead gen's working, we share what lead gen's not working. We
Yeah.
talk to each other, we help each other, we coach each other. There's good days, there's bad days, but I like the cohesiveness, and I think it's you bring a lot of inclusiveness to the company, right? Like I think that's a big thing for you because a lot of times you look around at an office and they're like, that's my competition. They're going to steal my this. They're going to steal my that. We have a no BS rule. Like I always say there's laws at Trend, but there's not rules. So we just make up our own rules, right?
Right.
Like we, of course, abide by the law.
Sure.
But we don't do these stupid rules, right? Like
Right.
we only do the essentials, the things that work, the things that matter. Would you say that some of that has helped you be your authentic self?
100%.
Awesome.
100%.
Good.
I got so lost into if I don't have this piece of technology, I can't sell houses. If I don't do things this way with this process, you know, I'm going to fail.
Right.
I mean, that's a terrible feeling.
Right.
You know, and one of my favorite lines is, don't confuse movement for achievement. I felt like I was never
Yes.
stopping.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, what was I achieving? I'm achieving more now, and using your line, do less better.
I love that.
So
I stole that too. It's not.
I
it's
mean,
not
I didn't make
actually-
up the other one either.
Yeah, right. Like
So-
in real estate, you borrow a
Right.
lot, right? We borrow this
Exactly.
stuff, but yeah, no. So there was
Yes.
the book Essentialism said do less better.
Right.
And you know, I'm big on recharging the batteries. Like
Sure.
so, when I'm not working, I'm just literally not working, right? Like there's just days it's like phones off, got to recharge, got to recoup, because then you
the
come
balance.
back better, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's super huge. I think you see agents just burn out because they go 7 days a week. They don't take breaks. Every coach in the industry is going to say something to the effect of, well, you got to do an open house Saturday, open house Sunday, work night, all this stuff during the week. And then they fry, right? And if you can recoup your energy, get back, and like you do, show up with a smile and be intelligent and, you know, give great service and do all the things that you do, I think the client, the customer, the end user feels that, and they're like, okay, this person's sharp, they're on it, and boom, all of a sudden you're in the middle of multiple transactions, making tons of money, keeping 100%, happy camper, right?
Exactly. And it's not just the clients that suffer, it's yourself, and it's your
Totally.
family, and it's your friends.
It's your
and
dog.
It's my dog, yeah.
Can't have your dog suffering.
know.
Right? Listen, I want to thank you so much for coming in and do this. We'll do this again.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it. Anything more you want to add? Did I miss anything?
No,
for
I
our
think you
first-
covered pretty much all the bases.
Good. Okay, good. Well, I
Yep.
appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mamika, she is the mom of the office and does a
Yes.
really good job, helps us tremendously. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Take care.